Ooh, I like that. Hello everybody, welcome to Anderson, Indiana. My name's Josh the RV Nerd. We're actually here at a place called Modern Trailer, which is a Midwestern store only a couple hours south of my hometown, Coldwater, Michigan store, that is in the process of joining the Bish's RV team. So while I was down here kind of meeting and mingling with everybody, I thought I'd get my hands dirty, get some stuff recorded, and I stumbled into something here I really kind of like. This is the 1740 rear kitchen Springdale, and I've seen floor plans like this, but always tandem axle. This is the first north-south Murphy bed with slide out and awesome sauce rear kitchen that I've ever seen on a single axle camper. Now, with this being a full 8 foot wide, it has more living space and more opportunity for storage, plus the slide out opens it up further. And they did the best storage around the bed I've ever seen in a single axle camper. And folks, I've been doing this for a while, approaching 15 years. That's saying something, at least in my book anyway. The counter space in this it rivals any other single axle I've ever seen. There's only one Zinger that is somewhat similar to it I've ever seen, but they packed a lot in here. Now, when I saw with a slide and 8 foot wide, I was like, okay, well, this thing's gonna have 0 for cargo capacity. I was wrong. It has over 1,100 pounds of cargo carrying capacity, which for a single axle little camper, I think is pretty respectable. Now, the thing is, there are some knockout home run features on this RV. There's also a couple things that just flat suck. No way about it. And I'm gonna try to give you some good with some bad. One of those things, the headroom in the shower is rough. It's rough. No skylight or something like that. So there's some things it does great, there's some things it doesn't. Let's see if it might be the right one for you, and if you like how we give you the fair deal on things, make sure you hit that subscribe button and like our video, and let's get in there. And as we go through this, as you start to see and recognize the layout, maybe from previous videos or other RVs you've seen, like someone's definitely going to say, oh, it looks like they did a copy of the Imagine 17 MKE. Yeah, basically, on a single axle. But lighter weight, less money, and that's a big thing. Springdale's a very budget-sensitive brand, and I think it's a high-value brand, but a lot of what you're getting in this camper, you almost always need to quantify by saying the phrase, for the money, you know? But there's some things they did so good here. Like, your household and USB outlets on both side stands by the sofa or bed, whatever mode it might be in. And those are prepped, inverter prep. If you want to add an inverter to this little basic budget stick and tin camper and have some function out of some of your household outlets, you can do that. And that's just a Keystone thing. Like, very few single axle trailers do anything like that. I love the sofa bed breeze across windows right there. I'm not in love with the complete lack of window in the entry door, but I guess that's just kind of par for the course. With this being a stick-built camper, though, they can put those outlets down right where they matter, and that's another one of those inverter prepped outlets, as is the one in that what I'm going to call the coffee maker appliance corner back here on what is like an aircraft carrier landing field of countertop space, brother. This is not bad. Now, it is a weird shoved in the corner back here, and normally I'm not a fan of open face storage, but I understand why they couldn't put a swinging door there, because it would be awful hard to get to. So sometimes where this RV is a little glitchy and lacking, like, I get it, it makes sense. No TV by default from the factory, but if you wanted to put one in, you've got room up there for, I'm going to estimate, like a 40-inch TV. If you wanted to go that big, just make sure you're tapping into a stud. You got to hold it up to your chest first and to calibrate, go, yup, there's one, and then you're good. But you could do that. I definitely put it on a swing arm, though. They also don't have a traditional stereo. Very similar to the FSX Salem Wildwoods you might have seen. They're going with this portable Bluetooth speaker over here. I'm a fan of that. I think that's really, really smart. Personally, that's just my 2 cents. Now, the color palette is basically black cabinetry. That jelly ain't everybody's jam. Like, I get that. That's not something that everybody loves, but it's what they do. They do contrast it nicely with some very light, bright, ever stuff else, so I guess that does help. And that is a big 12-volt compressor fridge back there. Now, some people have heard you don't necessarily want a fridge on the rear wall of the RV because of how much it bounces going down the road. And in a way, in theory, that's true. RV refrigerators are supposed to be shock rated. I think I'm not going to tiptoe around the fact that there's not always a awesome track record of certain things out there like that, but This is a tiny camper. There's not enough of it hanging past the rear axle to really matter. Now, this is a dinette slide. There's no theater seat. There's no hide-a-bed swaptions on anything like that. I do like that they went with a carpetless slide, but you might notice there's a little bit of a carpeted platform over here, and it is a step-up slide-out. A lot of people are going to say, man, I want a floor flush slide. I want to do a theater seat. And you can, but not in this camper. You need to get to a bigger RV that has a larger chassis so that the slide out isn't located above the wheel wells. That is what the box that we're looking at here is. In fact, you could actually see the wheel well over here hidden under the kitchen. You know, the wheel well sticks up into the body of the RV, so it's not possible to have a floor flush slide, so you can't have a nice big fancy theater seat. Otherwise, your feet would be hanging off the seating like, you know, the back seat of Daddy's Studebaker. And frankly, your head would be up so high, it'd be bashing into the ceiling of that slide out right there. Now, flipping you over into wide angle magic mode over here, showing you how the Murphy bed works. It is a tri-fold bendy bed, which is one of the more labor intensive bed setups. That being said, maybe it's just my experience. I did buzz through this one pretty effectively. I didn't find it too awful terrible or anything like that. It is a Camp Queen size, but I love the headboard pockets, or in my case, the actual just literal head side pockets over there. I also, the storage around the bed is fantastic. It's the best around the bed storage I've ever seen in any single axle camper in my entire career, which is, like I said, approaching 15 years now. So I've seen a lot of single axles. That's the best setup I've ever seen on that one. I'd be kind of curious, what do you think about this? Like, you've got all that kitchen space, and this is a Springdale Mini. It's the little single axle, guys. It has a single basin sink. I don't know that I dislike that, but you can't get big pots and pans in it. But this is also not a kind of camper it's going to have a big giant oven in it either. So I mean, it's a push and it's a pull. I don't know what to think about it necessarily. I do love all the cabinet space and the drawer space. It's some of the best drawer space I've ever seen in a single axle RV. What are you putting back in this corner, by the way? I like to play this game. I'd probably go like griddle, air fryer, coffee maker, something like that. I think is probably what we would put in there. Now, it is a tankless on-demand water heater, so you can do quite a few back-to-back showers if you want to. You're probably not going to want to spend any more time than you have to in this shower, though, because as you see, if you try to stand up too quickly and you're tall like me, like 6 foot plus, you're going to break your neck. You're going to absolutely crush and condense your spine if that happens. I do like to shower surround paneling, though, and it is just an easy step-in shower. Now, I don't know who could hear that. Who could identify that clickety-clack sound in the background? Leave me a comment. That's funny. I hit it with my butt. The toilet's tight. It is tight like a tiger around that toilet right there. As you can see, I started to get a little bit of stir-crazy claustrophobia. I like the good counter space. Another inverter prepped outlet. And it is a full medicine cabinet, not just a mirror on the wall. And now we've got a drunken octopus trying to fight his own reflection. I tell you, these kids, these octopi, you send them to school. You buy them books, and they eat the frickin' pencils, man. I don't know. Maybe I'm just bitter about that. I'm technically a millennial, but I'm like a bitter, mean old man for a millennial. Anyway, we joke about that on my marketing team. There's people that are younger than me on the team, and they're like, dude, you're just a grouchy old man. I'm like, yeah. So anyway, it's a short camper. This rollover sofa does not have enough room to fold out. Oh, this is interesting. It kind of creates like this little coffin cot kind of thing. I don't think there's any specific benefit here, although maybe some cargo. That could maybe be some like tote storage. I'll have to think about that. I didn't think about that before. Oh, it doesn't matter. Anyway, it's not recommended that you sit in and occupy that slide while it's retracted, by the way, only because it's not tested for that. It might be capable. I don't know, but they're not testing for it currently. But the kitchen accessibility, the bathroom, if you need to stop and grab a snack, wash your hands, use the bathroom, wash your hands after you use the bathroom, you can do it.
Now, what's it going to take to tow it? Taking a look here. 5,200 pounds max, short manageable length.
Not only do I think this is generally going to be regarded as half-ton towable, I think potentially mid-size pickups, maybe happy handling one of these, obviously tow package mid-size pickups. There might be some heavier-duty tow package SUVs that may also get the job done as well. So this is going to be one that has a fair level of towability. Now, even though this is one of the more basic campers that Keystone makes in the entirety of the Keystone catalog and lineup, it still has their Gigi box up here, that better wiring that gets rid of that ugly nest of relays. And it provides a hard disconnect, so there's no parasitic load off the batteries. And speaking of which, at least at the time of this filming, and it may change in the future, I don't know, currently all these Keystones are coming with 200 amp hours of Dragonfly lithium batteries. That is really, I think, a standout feature on any factory RV, especially a single axle stick and tin like this. That's a chunk of money represented in those batteries right there. Not to mention, even this, their most basic camper, still has a 200-watt roof factory solar package with 15-amp charge controller. You could add a second panel to that if you want, and you still have the ability to utilize your portable side mount prep plug over here in tandem concert with the roof solar prep. So there's a lot of good action going on there. One of the things I also thought was just a rock star quality is this little camper has a big, full pass-through compartment, which is rare in little trailers like this. Something else I noticed, looking at the details and all the experience I have looking at different single-axle campers, 4-corner stabilizer jacks. And that's a boring thing to talk about. You almost assume it's going to be included on a camper, but you would assume wrong if you thought that every single-axle camper out there also had front stabilizers. There's still quite a few that do not, and I don't love that. You know, something else I'm not impressed with, but I understand they couldn't do any better with it. That awning. That awning is shorter than my attention span. Yeah, we'll go with that. It's shorter than my attention span. The windows are tinted though, which is nice, and they do open for airflow. You got the stable steps keeping some of the wiggle jiggle out of it. You do have a tankless on-demand water heater, and I love that it's right back here next to the sink and the shower. That's physically one of the best location proximities next to your water features, basically, so that you're not wasting any more water than you can possibly help. And I do really respect, even though they've always had a walkable roof, they never gave us any sort of ladder prep. Just that simple bracket up there to be able to attach one of those portable side mount kind of ladders, those telescopic jobs. Now that ladder's not included, but this camper does give you the place to do that, although keep in mind, I don't know if one of those telescopic ladders would fit in the front pass-through compartment, so you're going to have to kind of juggle how that is going to work for you. You may have got a little peek at the solar panel up there. I just rolled my ankle, something fierce in the uneven ground walking up that curb there. Ooh, I want to say the big swears, but I'm not gonna. We also have ourselves a little outside mini fridge here, and I'm having trouble finding, I can't see physically the outlet. One thing I know Keystone's actually getting pretty good about is inverter prepping to those outside fridge outlets, but I don't know if they're doing that here. And I want to tell you what I think, not what I know, but if that's something that might be handy and important for you, maybe ask your sales team member here at our stores what the lowdown skinny on that is while I try to bulk up on my knowledge for future videos. Now, as always, I'll leave you a link in the video description to check for pricing and availability, but I would really be curious, you know, if you get a chance, jump on our website or Modern Trailer's website. I'm not sure which website's still going to be live when this footage comes out. As you can see, they got all kinds of different brands back here, some of which I've not had a big chance to record in the past. If there are some specific units and floor plans and brands you want me to zero in on, I need to hear from you, because I've got a buffet of opportunities and there ain't no way my belly can handle all that. It would done bust. I know I got a bit of a dad bod, but not enough to handle all that. Like, what was that movie with John Candy where he ate the giant steak? Is that The Great Outdoors? What was it? The 96er? Does anybody have a clue what I'm talking about right now? Like, there's a dude that was hit by lightning and a bear gets shot in the butt with a shotgun, I think. Am I crazy, or am I actually remembering that? It doesn't matter. Wow, I went off topic. Take care, stay safe, have fun, and squirrel!